Hey guys, and welcome to new releases for the week of March 31st. Before we get into the video, I just have two things to say. One, I'm in a bit of a time crunch, so I'm going to try to narrow down the things that we talk about today. I have to wrap this up in about 25 minutes because I have to get my daughter to skating. And I have to brush the car off because it snowed like a mother effer last night. And then the second thing is that somebody suggested I do a question and answer video now that I have hit 1,000 subscribers, which still seems highly surreal to me. So I'd love to do that. I usually put out my request for questions on Instagram, and I get some, but not an awful lot. So I thought that I would actually put out the call for questions in this video. So feel free to leave them down below in the comments. I will compile them all, as well as some assumptions that people gave to me on Instagram as well, and the plan is to bring Barry into it as well. So if you want to ask us questions about our relationship, our marriage, parenting, any of that kind of thing, if you want to ask him specific questions, feel free, and we will film a response video shortly. Okay, now let's get on to the new releases. I have talked before in these videos about Benefit, and I want them to do better, I do, but they just don't make it easy for me to be super supportive of them. So, for example, this is a new release that just kind of snuck onto the Sephora website. It's $40, and what you're getting is a full-size dandelion blush and a mini-size dandelion blush. So it's not enough that Benefit just repackages all of their existing products into new sets and calls it something new. Now they're literally just giving you two of the exact same thing, just in different sizes. I don't, for the life of me, I don't understand why this is a thing. I really don't. I guess if you really like the blush and you buy it for yourself and you gift a mini to somebody, or if you want one for travel, I really don't understand. I mean, if you have ideas on why somebody would buy a full size with a mini of the exact same product, please feel free to let me know. But I just, like, just do better, please, Benefit. Like, just please push yourself and do better, because you can. All evidence to the contrary. Next up is a new palette from Maniacs Cosmetics. It's the Uranus palette. Tee-hee. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want a palette called Uranus. I'm basically a 12-year-old boy at heart, and that's just gonna make me giggle. Also, I just can't ever imagine doing a tutorial and being like, so now I'm just gonna reach into Uranus and pull out that nice brown shade. I wouldn't be able to get through that with a straight face. There's just no way. And moving on from there, because it's not just the name, it's what's inside that counts, right? I'm just not overly drawn to the color story. Like, I like that there's some variety there. To me, I just like commitment to one pan size and shape. I just have like a touch of OCD, so having the circles and the squares kind of bothers me. I do like that the circles are all shimmer and the squares are all matte, so there is some continuity there. It's just a palette that, it looks okay. It does. It looks okay, but it's not enough for me to really rush out to buy it. It is $45 US, which translates to around 60-ish Canadian, and then with the shipping and all of that kind of thing, this is going to be like an $80 palette, and it's not worth $80 to me. To me, it's not. And again, coupled with the whole Uranus thing, that's just, it's going to be a hard pass for me. Just saying. Let's move on. A palette that actually does look interesting to me is from BH Cosmetics, and this is their second collaboration with It's My Ray Ray. It is a colorful palette this time, and if the swatches can be believed, these are like super pigmented, amazing looking shadows. Now, these swatches often are quite built up, but I have had good experiences with BH Cosmetics eyeshadows in the past. They haven't been like the most pigmented, but they are certainly buildable. So I can't say that I'm going to go out and buy this, but the price point is much nicer than the Uranus palette. This one is $17.50 and it does look very, very pretty. I don't think that I'm going to buy it, but there is a bit of temptation there. We'll put it that way. Okay, so Trend Mood posted this screen grab from, I'm assuming it's Twitter, Jaclyn Hill. So somebody responds to a picture that she posted saying Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics launch date, and then she responds, "I've got it, kiss emoji." I'm not going to hold my breath. We've been hearing about Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics for years. Like 4 years? Maybe 5 years at this point, but like years, literally years. And it still hasn't happened. So I'm not going to hold my breath. I guess time will tell. But I don't know, like I'm sure it's going to do well. She has so many fans and supporters that when she finally does come out with something, I think it's going to be heavily criticized because it's hers. And that's just the way the internet unfortunately works. But I also think that it is going to sell out because she has more fans than haters. I'm not particularly excited. I'm more about the actual product rather than the person behind it. So time will tell. We'll see. She says she's got a date but hasn't provided it yet. So stay tuned, I guess. I don't know. So MAC is coming out with yet another collection. I think they do collections more frequently than ColourPop, to be honest. It seems that way anyways. But this is going to be their Electric Wonder collection. It's got like this pretty marbled / paint splattery looking packaging. But the palettes look very dull to me. Like not even, I don't even want to say boring, because as I'm using my Tartelette in Bloom palette more and more, I'm starting to develop like a love for neutrals, which is surprising. So I'm not completely put off by neutral palettes, but this just looks dull. Like it just looks muted, and it just looks like everything's going to sort of blend into one amorphous color. The palette that's in the background of the image looks a little bit more promising because there's a bit more contrast in the shades, but overall it really doesn't excite me all that much. The packaging is kind of pretty, but I've seen much nicer from them, so this is one that I'm not personally excited about. It will be coming to the UK and Ireland first on April 4th, and then there's no release date yet for North America, but sometime after April 4th is my guess. I don't know. Real Techniques has released some new sponges. These ones have glitter in them. They are $6 each. I assume that that's US. You can also buy a protective case for it for $3.99, but it does say to let the sponge air dry before placing it in the case, so I'm guessing that it's not vented. From the picture, it doesn't look like it is. I think that would have been a good idea, just to leave some air holes in there so that everything could circulate. Because letting it dry first before putting it in the case, like for me it takes like at least 12 hours for my sponges to dry, so that's not the most practical thing here, but the price point is there. I love the glitter idea, like I really do. I would like to see how it plays out after washing it and using it a few times. But I posted a comment on the image when I found it on Beauty News Official, just basically saying somewhere Beauty Blender is salty AF that they didn't think of glitter first, because this release picture came shortly on the heels of Beauty Blender shading the crap out of Real Techniques. And come on, Beauty Blender, like, stick in your own lane, pay attention to what you're doing, pull up your socks, lower your prices, and then you don't have to feel insecure about all these other sponge brands who are killing it while your sponges are kind of languishing. Because you're basically just releasing the exact same thing, slightly different color variations, and charging a boatload of money for it. I think everybody who has watched my videos in the past knows my feelings about that, so we're just gonna mosey on over to Fenty Beauty, who is coming out with bronzers. So they are about to drop 8 shades of bronzer. They will be available on the Fenty Beauty website and the Sephora website on April 5th. Do I have a price? I don't have a price, but probably around the same price as the Killawatt highlighters is just my guess. I'm excited about this, and I love that they have 8 shades to cover the entire spectrum of skin tones. When I first heard about Fenty Beauty, like before it launched, I like instantly in my mind wrote it off. I'm like, yeah, it's just another celebrity doing another makeup line. It's not going to be any good, blah, blah. And then she released her products and effing killed the cosmetics game. I really enjoyed every product that I have used from them. The foundation I was not wild on. But I have to give so much credit and so much respect to the inclusivity of the range. It would have been enough for Rihanna to just kind of sit back and just rely on her name to sell her products, but she didn't. She's actually put a lot of thought behind this. The packaging is beautiful. Just the completeness of the line, the fact that she keeps putting out new products, that they have high quality but not exorbitant prices. Like I have a lot of respect for the brand, I really do. And I think a lot of other brands should be keeping their eye on Fenty and taking some cues from them. So quickly, Makeup Forever is coming out with powder foundation. So it's going to be their Matte Velvet Skin Blurring Powder Foundation, which is going to have full coverage. I have tried their liquid Matte Velvet foundation before. I didn't like it at first. As I used it and learned how to make it work for me, I became a bigger fan of it. But I still, at the end of the day, personally, I don't gravitate towards full coverage. And my concern with this product, because it's a powder product, is that it's going to appear very cakey on the skin in order to achieve that full coverage. But I don't know that it will, and just that is the concern I would have. So I would want to swatch this in stores and even get like the Sephora staff to apply it with a brush to my hand or to my face or something, just so that I could see what it actually translates to. I wouldn't want to order this one online because I have that concern. Another quick mention is Lipstick Queen. They are coming out with 3 new color changing lipsticks, and I don't understand. I don't understand. These are $25 each US, so that's a pricey pricey, what? It's a hefty price tag. There's the words. And it's also like you're buying something and you don't know what color it's going to be. And sure, they have had these products before. They had the Frog Prince one, the green one that turned pink. And that's all well and fine, but why are you relying so much on these color changing things? Like, it's, at the end of the day, it is a gimmick. That is what it is. And at $25 a tube, like, if you know it's going to turn orange, just do an orange lipstick. I don't know. It just seems a little bit too much. Like they've kind of beat the horse dead a little bit at this point. Just one person's opinion. In the interest of saving time, I'm going to skip over a couple of the other things that I had screenshotted. I've got 2 more things to talk about then. So one is the Icy Betch palette from Tarte. And if we all recall, last year around this time they released this image, which the internet lost its collective mind about. Everybody was so excited, so shocked, really thought this was going to be a thing, super happy. Everybody had their wallets out and they were ready for this thing to drop, only for Tarte to be like, gotcha, April Fools. Fuck you, Tarte. So now, a year later, and after a multitude of blue eyeshadow palettes have already come out, now they're releasing the Icy Betch. First of all, still, Icy Betch makes me want to like stab my eye with a spoon. I just am not on board with that name at all. The packaging is cute, at least the outside of it is. The inside makes me twitchy as fuck. Why do you have 3 different pan shapes and sizes in here? Why is there a space between the blue underneath the highlighter and the rest of the shadows? Like, I honestly thought it was going to be like a cream eyeliner or something, but no, it's a matte shadow just sitting off on its own in purgatory because it's not allowed to join the cool kids. I don't know. Why did you put a highlighter in here? Like, why not? If you were going to change it from the original, which they shouldn't have done. The original, everybody was like drooling over and so excited about, and then they just did what Tarte does a lot of times and just disappointed everybody. But make it a collection then. If you want to sell a highlighter, put it in its own compact and let people buy that separately. They could have done some lip products with this. They could have done some eyeliners. They could have put out a blue mascara or something. They could have like had a lot of fun with this collection, and they didn't. And I'm not buying it, even though it is a relatively cheap price point for, in comparison to the rest of their stuff. I'm just not swayed. Now, we have to talk about the Urban Decay and Game of Thrones collection, because they have finally released what it's going to be. And it is a rather extensive collection. Let's start with some of the minor stuff, and then we'll move into the actual eyeshadow palette. So they're coming out with 4 lipsticks. Here they are here. 4 eye pencils, which actually look really pretty. I don't know that I'm going to end up buying any of them. Maybe that like iridescent light blue one. I really love the Urban Decay eye pencils. Like, I love them. But I don't have an awful lot of need for sparkly ones, so maybe. We'll see. Then there is a highlighter trio, because there's always a highlighter trio in their collections. And then some brushes that are made to look like swords. I'm not horribly upset about it. It's not flamingos. I'll live. I don't think they're the most practical thing for storage, just with those little things sticking out. I have the name. I can't remember what it's called. Doesn't matter. And then there's like a liquid blush, it looks like. I don't know. I've never really used a liquid blush. I think Benefit has stuff like this. But it looks like it could potentially be just a pain in the butt to work with. I don't know. It looks like it's a pretty color, but practically speaking, I don't know. And then we have the eyeshadow palette. So, I'm typically concerned when I know that something is coming up from Urban Decay that they're going to do stupid packaging with it. And they did stupid packaging, in my opinion. So, it's basically 4 palettes all connected into one. So there's 4 little color stories going across there. I'm not super jazzed about the color selections that they have in here, but I'm also not super upset about it. I don't even really want to focus on the colors because I think it is very usable. I like that everything's sort of grouped together, so it's approachable in that sense as well. But what I really don't like is the packaging, because it reminds me of the Alice in Wonderland where it opened up and I think it was like a butterfly came out or something, I can't remember, because I decluttered it. And this is the kind of thing that I would declutter as well. I wish that if they were going to do something like this, then have a cover on the actual top of the palette as well, so that when you pull it out, you can just store that. And if you wanted to get rid of that big bulky packaging, you could, but your shadows would still be protected. This just looks like a declutter waiting to happen for me. So, you know what, I'm not overly upset about it because it's saving me a ton of money, because I was ready to buy whatever they were going to put out until I saw it and was like, I can live without this. I truly can live without everything that's in this collection. I don't hate it. I'm not going to go off and like roast the shit out of it or anything like that. I just think that they could have done something different. I was expecting something different. That's not true. I was expecting them to do bulky, ridiculous packaging, and they did. So overall, thank you, Urban Decay. You've saved me probably like $100. So, all right, that is it. I need to fly upstairs, get ready, brush the car off, get to skating, get the skates on, freeze in the arena, and then enjoy the rest of my Sunday. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I will see you guys in my next video, and as always, feel free to leave your thoughts, comments, whatever on these products down below. I love reading your opinion on things, and don't forget to leave some questions as well. I would really appreciate that, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now, guys.